Who you are when no one's watching says more about you than anything you do in the spotlight. Ever wondered what really goes on in the mind of a Sigma male when he's alone, far from judgment, noise, and expectations? It's easy to think of them as mysterious loners who vanish into the shadows, but there's so much more beneath the surface. When no one's watching, Sigma males are busy shaping themselves into sharp, unbreakable individuals. They're not flexing for the crowd or chasing validation. They're putting in the real work on their minds, skills, and beliefs. It's about refinement, not recognition. While most people chase distractions or seek approval, Sigma males challenge themselves privately. They think through life's toughest questions, debate their own beliefs, and prepare for worst-case scenarios, not out of fear, but out of respect for the unpredictability of life. It's about staying sharp, ready, and resilient. These moments in solitude are where they truly grow, where they test their limits, confront their flaws, and come out stronger. And here's the thing, there's a Sigma inside anyone willing to go beyond the surface and do the hard, lonely work. It's about rejecting the easy path and committing to real growth. If you've ever felt the urge to break free from shallow expectations and become something more, this is your call. So if you're curious about the mindset and habits that set Sigma males apart, watch the video. Maybe it'll even spark a fire in you to live life on your own terms, unapologetically. Let's get started. Number 1, perfect skills that seem pointless until they aren't. It's easy to dismiss certain skills as pointless until the moment you desperately need them. For most people, things like lockpicking, survival tactics, or learning obscure coding languages sound like hobbies for conspiracy theorists or bored thrill seekers. But for Sigma males, these niche skills are more than just curiosities. They're a quiet rebellion against helplessness. Imagine the average person locked out of their house or stranded in the wild with nothing but a pocket knife. Panic sets in, helplessness takes over, and they're at the mercy of someone else's expertise. Sigma males can't stomach that idea. They'd rather obsessively learn something useless today than be powerless tomorrow. Lockpicking might seem odd until you're stuck and a locksmith is hours away. Survival tactics might seem dramatic until you're lost and need to make a fire. A programming language no one's heard of seems pointless until it's the only thing that gets the job done. It's not just about survival either. Mastering niche skills is about sharpening the mind, training focus, patience, and problem solving. Picking up an unusual musical instrument isn't just a quirky party trick. It's a way to challenge themselves, learn new patterns, and prove they can conquer anything they set their minds to. These skills give them quiet confidence, a sense of readiness, and proof that they're adaptable in a world full of specialists who can only do one thing well. What's interesting is that Sigma males don't flaunt these abilities. There's no need to brag or show off. It's about self-reliance, knowing deep down they can handle whatever life throws their way. When things go sideways, they're ready. When most people would be scrambling, they're already moving. It's not paranoia, it's preparation. In a world where convenience and comfort have made most people soft and unprepared, Sigma males refuse to rely on luck or the kindness of strangers. They perfect pointless skills as a way to say, if things go wrong, I'm not going down easy. It's independence in its purest form, proof that they're ready for the unexpected, even if no one else gets it. Number 2, run the what would I do differently drill. Ever find yourself thinking about a past situation, replaying it in your mind and wondering what you could have done differently? Most people do this every now and then, usually with a twinge of regret or embarrassment. But for Sigma males, this mental exercise is a whole different beast. It's not about beating themselves up. It's about mastering the art of foresight and refining their decision-making skills. They call it the what would I do differently drill, and it's as intense as it sounds. Picture a Sigma male sitting alone, deep in thought. He's not zoning out, he's mentally reliving a scenario from the past. Maybe it's a heated argument, a business decision, a missed opportunity, or even a small moment that didn't sit right. But instead of cringing and moving on, he breaks it down step by step. What went wrong? What did he overlook? How did his emotions cloud his judgment? Then he replays the situation with a twist. How would he handle it now, knowing what he knows today? It's not about regret. Regret is useless unless it drives change. For Sigma males, this drill is all about preparation. If a similar situation pops up again, they'll know exactly how to handle it. No hesitation, no second guessing. It's like a mental blueprint for better decisions. They're obsessed with learning from their past, whether it's a big life lesson or a minor slip-up. They'll even rehearse multiple outcomes. What if the person reacted differently? What if unexpected variables popped up? How would he adapt? This mental exercise might seem obsessive, but it's powerful. It's why Sigma males often seem unshakable. They've already run through the possibilities, calculated responses, and adjusted their approach. They don't just wing it, they prepare. And when life throws curveballs, they hit back with confidence. This drill isn't about dwelling on the past, it's about refusing to repeat it. Sigma males aren't content with saying, "I'll do better next time," they'll make sure of it. That's the difference. While most people replay mistakes to feel bad, Sigma males do it to make sure they never make the same mistake twice. Number 3, visualize multiple identities. Ever caught yourself daydreaming about a different life? Maybe you're a globe-trotting photographer, a tech genius in Silicon Valley, or even living off the grid in some remote, self-sufficient cabin. For most people, it's just a passing thought, a fun escape from reality. But for a Sigma male, this exercise is a mental discipline, a way to stay adaptable and ready for whatever life throws his way. He doesn't just imagine. He visualizes multiple versions of himself, each one molded to thrive in a different scenario. It's more than wishful thinking. He's mapping out what each version of himself would look like, act like, and prioritize. One day, he might envision himself as a ruthless entrepreneur, building empires and playing the power game. Another day, he's the minimalist wanderer, detached from materialism and living with only what he can carry. He dives deep into these roles, considering how each version of himself would respond to crisis, handle setbacks, or chase fulfillment. It's all about understanding the different ways he could live, who he could become if circumstances demanded it. This mental exercise gives him options. If life ever pulls the rug out from under him, if he loses a job, a relationship, or a sense of direction, he's already envisioned an alternative. He's not clinging desperately to a single identity because he's seen himself thrive in countless others. It's freedom disguised as preparation. While most people feel trapped by their roles, whether it's a job title, a social label, or a life path, he knows he's never truly stuck. He can adapt, transform, and reinvent himself if needed. And here's the kicker, it keeps him humble. By visualizing so many different lives, he realizes there's no single right way to be successful or happy. The world isn't black and white, it's a kaleidoscope of possibilities. It's not about abandoning who he is now. It's about staying sharp, ready and unafraid to step into a new role, if that's what life calls for. That's the essence of a Sigma male, never locked in, never predictable, and always 2 steps ahead. Number 4, they rehearse their coldest goodbyes. When a Sigma male walks away, it's not a spur-of-the-moment decision. It's a calculated exit, cold, final, and without the need for dramatic speeches or second thoughts. The truth is, he's already rehearsed this goodbye 100 times in his mind. While most people agonize over how to break ties or hesitate until they're drowning in toxic connections, the Sigma male has already made peace with walking away. It's not because he's heartless, it's because he knows the value of his own peace. He doesn't fantasize about burning bridges or making grand exits. Instead, he imagines the exact moment, the words he'll say, or maybe the silence he'll keep. He plays out every angle, how the other person might react, how he'll feel afterward, and the life he'll lead once they're out of his orbit. This mental rehearsal isn't just about severing ties, it's about freeing himself from the grip of indecision. If things ever go south, he'll be ready, not scrambling for the right words or clinging to dead connections. But here's the kicker. This mental exercise isn't reserved for enemies or toxic people. He's even rehearsed leaving relationships he cares about if the situation demands it. It's not about lack of loyalty or attachment. It's about being honest with himself. He knows that not everyone can go where he's headed, and he won't drag anyone along who doesn't belong in his future. The coldness isn't cruelty, it's acceptance. The emotional preparation ensures he won't cling to dead weight or stick around out of guilt. So when a Sigma male finally does walk away, it's swift and resolute. No long-winded explanations, no pleading, no chance for manipulation. His silence speaks louder than any goodbye, and the absence he leaves behind is far more haunting than his presence ever was. Those who know him well understand this. If he's rehearsed a goodbye, it's already over. You just haven't realized it yet. That's the reality of dealing with a Sigma male. He never gets caught off guard. He plans his exits like a chess move, staying 5 steps ahead. When he leaves for good. Number 5, they simulate their own death, metaphorically. Have you ever stopped to imagine what would happen if you simply disappeared tomorrow? Not just the usual thoughts of who would miss me, but really diving into what your absence would leave behind. A Sigma male does this regularly. He doesn't fear death, he uses it as a tool for clarity. In his mind, he simulates his own death, stripping away the superficial layers of life to see what remains when all the noise is gone. This isn't some morbid exercise, it's a powerful wake-up call, a reality check. By imagining the world without him, he forces himself to confront what really matters. Who would notice if he were gone? What impact would he have left behind? This thought process cuts through the distractions and helps him refocus on his legacy, his true purpose, and the things that genuinely deserve his time and energy. The beauty of this mental exercise is that it gives him perspective. In a world that's obsessed with transient trends, fake connections, and shallow success, it sharpens his ability to see what holds real value. He's not chasing fleeting recognition or societal approval. He's focused on what endures, whether it's his contributions to others, the knowledge he imparts, or the way he lived authentically. By regularly dying in his own mind, he gets better at living in the present, free from unnecessary attachments. He sheds the expectations of others, the pressures of fitting into molds, and the constant pursuit of validation. What's left is his truest form, his essence. This practice ensures that when he does leave, whenever that may be, he's not caught up in regrets or wondering if he lived right. He'll know he did. And it's not just about him. This exercise makes him ask if others are living authentically too, if they're chasing the wrong things or wasting their energy on meaningless distractions. Through this, a Sigma male doesn't just prepare for his own exit. He encourages others to live in a way that won't leave them with empty spaces when they're gone. Number 6, they erase sentimental attachments to places and objects. For most people, sentimental attachments are chains disguised as comfort, old gifts, childhood keepsakes, and memorabilia that tug at the heartstrings and whisper, "Hold on to me, I matter." But Sigma males think differently. They don't just declutter their living spaces, they declutter their minds. The process isn't about being cold or heartless, it's about staying untethered and unbound by things that don't truly define them. When a Sigma male realizes an object is carrying too much sentimental weight, dragging memories, regrets, or old versions of himself into the present, he lets it go. This isn't the same as mindless minimalism. It's an act of rebellion against being owned by what he owns. To him, possessions are tools, not extensions of identity. If an object can be used, it stays. If it serves no real purpose or holds a grip on him, it goes. No nostalgia, no second thoughts. This mindset spills over into places too. A house isn't a sanctuary, it's just a structure. A city isn't a home, it's a location. Sigma males understand that sentimentality can trap you, rooting you so deeply in one spot that you forget the world is vast and full of new experiences. They'd rather have the freedom to pack up and start fresh than be anchored by a love for a place that no longer serves them. The real power in detaching from things and places isn't just in letting go. It's in the control it gives. It's a constant reminder that nothing owns them. They're not trapped by memories, not defined by possessions, and not reliant on familiar surroundings to feel at ease. They carry their sense of self wherever they go, untethered and free. It's easy to see this practice as cold or ruthless, but it's the opposite. By refusing to let objects or places hold power over them, Sigma males are free to live in the present, focused on what truly matters instead of clinging to the past. When nothing owns you, the world becomes a playground, not a prison. And that's exactly how they like it. Number 7, test their own discipline with odd challenges. Ever wonder why some people voluntarily put themselves through discomfort when they don't have to? Most folks chase comfort like it's the ultimate prize: softer beds, faster gadgets, and convenience on demand. But Sigma males, they see comfort as a trap, something that can make you soft and weak if you get too used to it. That's why they test their own discipline with odd challenges, random, self-imposed tests of willpower that would make most people scratch their heads. Imagine fasting for an entire day, not because you're dieting or trying out a trendy cleanse, but simply to prove to yourself that hunger doesn't control you. or ditching your phone, laptop, and all screens for a weekend, not because you're detoxing from tech, but to remind yourself that you own your time, not notifications, likes, or constant distractions. Or maybe even sleeping on the floor for a night, pushing away the luxury of a comfy bed just to show yourself you can handle discomfort. It's not about being extreme for the sake of it, it's about self-mastery. These challenges are proof to themselves that comfort doesn't own them. They want to know that if life got rough, they wouldn't crumble just because the Wi-Fi went out or the mattress wasn't memory foam. It's about building grit, hardening themselves against the modern world's obsession with easy living. These challenges aren't flashy or Instagram-worthy. There's no bragging or humble bragging. It's all in private. The reward is personal, an unspoken confidence that comes from knowing they're tougher than convenience. When they fast, ignore cravings, and resist temptation, it's a reminder that their mind calls the shots, not their body's demands. This mindset bleeds into everything else. When life throws real challenges at them, stressful jobs, relationship issues, unexpected chaos, they've already trained their minds to endure. Discipline becomes second nature. It's why they stay calm under pressure. They've already tested their limits and know exactly how far they can go. Comfort won't make or break them. They're built to handle more than most people can imagine, all because they've proven it to themselves, one odd challenge at a time. Number 8, engage in intellectual dueling against themselves. When most people think of debating, they picture heated arguments with others, clashing opinions, raised voices, and a battle to prove who's right. But for Sigma males, the real debate happens in the quiet corners of their own minds. It's not about proving a point to someone else, it's about challenging themselves. They don't just think, they spar with their own ideas, testing them from every angle. It's a mental battle where the only opponent is their own certainty. This isn't some self-destructive habit of second-guessing themselves, it's more like sharpening a blade. They question their beliefs, play devil's advocate, and poke holes in their own logic, not because they don't trust themselves, but because they refuse to be trapped in an echo chamber of their own thoughts. If an idea can't stand up to ruthless scrutiny, it doesn't deserve to guide their decisions. And if it can survive their harshest critique, it becomes unshakable. They might challenge themselves on everything, values, principles, even assumptions they've held for years. What if they're wrong? What if the opposite is true? Could there be a perspective they've overlooked? This internal debate can get intense, going back and forth until they've exposed every weakness in their thinking. It's not about finding absolute truth, but about being prepared. They want to be ready for any argument, any unexpected angle, and any tough decision. This mental dueling makes them adaptable, sharp, and almost impossible to manipulate. They're not swayed by flashy words or emotional appeals because they've already picked apart those arguments in their own heads. By the time a conversation happens out loud, they're 10 steps ahead, already aware of the flaws and counterpoints. It's why Sigma males can seem so unshakable. They've already fought these battles in private, refining their beliefs until only the strongest ideas remain. They don't cling to comforting illusions or convenient lies. They'd rather have a painful truth than a comfortable delusion. In a world full of surface-level opinions, they know true strength comes from being willing to challenge yourself, even if no one else ever knows. Number 9, run scenarios for possible worst-case situations. It's easy to brush off worst-case scenarios as things that only happen in movies, break-ins, betrayals, financial collapse, or even society crumbling into chaos. Most people push these thoughts away, convinced that worrying won't change anything. But for Sigma males, running through these scenarios isn't about fear, it's about strategy. It's a mental drill, a way of preparing for the unexpected, so that if disaster strikes, they're not the ones left panicking. Imagine sitting alone, mind drifting, and instead of daydreaming about vacations or success, you're mapping out what you'd do if your house got broken into tonight. Where's the nearest exit? What could be used as a weapon? How would you protect the people you care about? It's not paranoia, it's mental conditioning. Sigma males play out these situations like chess games, anticipating moves, planning counterattacks, and identifying weak points. It's about knowing what to do before panic sets in. It doesn't stop at physical danger. They run through emotional and psychological scenarios too. What if a trusted friend betrays them? What if they lose everything financially overnight? What if society falls apart and survival becomes a real challenge? Instead of spiraling into anxiety, they visualize solutions, backup plans, emergency funds, and ways to rebuild from the ground up. It's not about obsessing over the worst, it's about making sure fear never blindsides them. To outsiders, it might seem excessive or even grim, but to Sigma males, it's a form of control, a way of staying calm no matter what chaos life throws their way. They know that when things go wrong, panic and hesitation are what get people hurt or stuck. By mentally rehearsing the worst, they can react with a level head if it ever comes true. It's like carrying a fire extinguisher. You hope you never need it, but you'll be glad you have it if things go up in flames. For Sigma males, running through worst-case scenarios is just another way to be ready. Proof that fear won't catch them off guard and life's curveballs won't knock them down. It's not paranoia, it's preparation, plain and simple. Number 10. Analyze past mistakes to the point of absurdity. Most people replay past mistakes in their minds now and then. An awkward comment, a missed opportunity, a decision that backfired. But for Sigma males, this kind of reflection is taken to a whole new level. They don't just think about what went wrong, they dissect it, examine it, and tear it apart until there's almost nothing left. It's not about self-pity or regret. It's about ruthless self-reflection. Picture this: a Sigma male sitting alone, eyes distant, lost in thought. To an outsider, he might look zoned out, but inside he's deep into a mental autopsy. He replays a past mistake, maybe a business deal gone wrong, a relationship that crashed and burned, or even a careless comment that came off wrong. But he doesn't stop at the obvious, he digs deeper. Why did he make that decision? What assumptions did he make? What signs did he miss? What would he do differently if it happened again? It's like a mental chess game where he reviews every move, including the ones that led to defeat. He'll even play devil's advocate against himself, challenging his own reasoning, questioning his motives, and hunting down blind spots. The goal isn't to beat himself up, it's to make sure he never gets blindsided the same way twice. Mistakes are seen as expensive lessons, and he's determined to squeeze out every ounce of wisdom from them. But this process can be ruthless, sometimes even absurd. He'll nitpick moments most people would have shrugged off years ago, replaying conversations and decisions until every detail is mapped out. It might seem excessive, but it's how he sharpens himself. By breaking things down to the bone, he ensures that he's always learning, always evolving. He's obsessed with self-improvement, not for validation, but because he demands excellence from himself. To some, it sounds exhausting, but for Sigma males, it's a way of staying sharp. By relentlessly examining past mistakes, they're not held back by regret. They're propelled forward by understanding. It's the difference between repeating the same mistakes and turning them into the foundation for future success. For them, it's simple: learn from the past or stay stuck in it. And staying stuck is never an option. Number 11, plan the perfect escape, just in case. There's something deeply fascinating about the idea of vanishing without a trace, disappearing from your life and starting over completely. For most people, it's a fleeting thought, a dramatic daydream sparked by a bad day or a stressful situation. But for Sigma males, this idea isn't some wild fantasy. It's a calculated backup plan, a mental exercise in self-reliance. Planning the perfect escape isn't about running away from problems. It's about knowing you could if you ever had to. It's a way of reclaiming control over a world that often feels unpredictable and chaotic. Sigma males don't like the idea of being trapped by a job, a relationship, a city, or even a reputation. To them, real freedom means having options, even if they never need to use them. When they map out an escape, they're not scribbling down Hollywood-style plans with fake passports and secret bank accounts, at least not always. It's more about understanding how they could hit the reset button if life ever backed them into a corner. Maybe it's researching how to live off the grid, knowing the ins and outs of remote work, or mastering skills that would let them adapt anywhere. It's about knowing who they could be if they weren't tied to the life they have now. It's a form of psychological insurance, proof that they don't have to stay stuck no matter what. It gives them a sense of control and peace of mind, knowing they can always reinvent themselves if needed. This mindset isn't driven by paranoia, but by a deep need for independence. Sigma males don't like feeling owned or controlled, not by people, circumstances, or even their own past decisions. It's not about escaping responsibilities or commitments. It's about keeping the power to choose. It's a reminder that no matter how tangled life gets, the option to walk away and start fresh always exists. That's the kind of control most people can't even imagine. But it's a cornerstone of the Sigma male's mindset. Prepared, unbound, and impossible to pin down. The truth is, what a Sigma male does when no one is watching is what truly sets him apart. It's not about flashy displays of confidence or putting on a show. It's about the relentless pursuit of self-mastery, control, and independence. When no one's around, he sharpens his mind, questions his beliefs, and prepares himself for anything life might throw his way. He's not trying to impress anyone or prove a point. He's building himself up from the inside out, making sure he's unshakable, adaptable, and ready for the unexpected. This way of life isn't for everyone. It's demanding, and it can get lonely. But that's the trade-off. Sigma males choose solitude over shallow connections, control over chaos, and self-awareness over comfortable lies. They train themselves to be prepared, to walk away when needed, and to face harsh truths head-on. While most people crave validation and comfort, Sigma males are too busy building the kind of inner strength that can't be taken away. It's not about being mysterious or edgy. It's about the freedom that comes from knowing you can handle whatever life throws your way. If you find yourself nodding along, recognizing pieces of yourself in these habits, understand this: you're wired differently for a reason. You've got the mindset of someone who refuses to be controlled, manipulated, or limited by anyone or anything. Own it, lean into it. The world is full of people who live for appearances, but that's not your path. Your path is about real strength, unshakable independence, and an inner life that no one else needs to understand. So keep doing what you do, mastering yourself, challenging your mind, and sharpening your edge. The world may not always see it, but when the moment comes, your preparation, resilience, and quiet power will speak louder than any spotlight ever could. Stay true, stay relentless, and stay unapologetically Sigma. Thank you for watching. God bless you.